We're back, and you're out in God's country with Dan and Reid Isbell, also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the outdoors. Two things that go together like sawmill gravy and Mama's homemade biscuits.
Like cookies and Velveeta cheese.
Those go together really good.
I know.
So try it if you haven't
Our
tried
dad used to make us eat that. It's like poor man's cheesecake.
A podcast produced by MeatEater and iHeart Productions.
So hop on up and ride shotgun with us as we get to know some of the creators behind the songs you know and love.
Like Ben Hayslip, dude.
Never been broke Hayslip.
I didn't want it to end.
Turns out he was broke
Yeah.
at one point. But he started a hat company and
Wasn't.
balled out.
Yeah. Another songwriter buddy of ours that we've written some songs with, and but in the songwriting room, you don't get into the conversation like we do in this podcast.
There's just not time to do so. I mean, when you've got to write booked at 11 and you got to be out of there by 3:30, which he's a busy guy, dude. I mean, that guy's doing it. Like, he's top of the thing.
And sometimes when you're in there with somebody, you're writing with somebody that you've never met before, you do get into, man, how'd you come to Nashville and the story? But that's what's cool about sitting down in this room, being able to talk to them for, an hour or 45 minutes and really hearing about those stories about how they grew up, what they did, what they loved, how they got into stuff.
The deer stand story.
Great.
Killer.
This guy played in the College World Series.
Sure he did.
For a team that wasn't supposed to play in the College World Series, which is pretty cool, man.
And honestly, probably could have gone pro. I mean, he was a baller, dude.
Got a kid that's playing in Alabama right now?
No, all his kids are ballers, dude.
Yeah.
All of them.
Oh, I know.
The one in high school, he thinks is the... Just need to listen to the podcast and see what you...
It was great, man. We didn't want it to end. Ben's is a world class guy.
Sure.
World class songwriter.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Man, just cool stories, cool outlook on the whole thing.
Great dude, great dad, great songwriter, great friend.
So check it out.
Put your headphones in, son. Listen to it, son.
Thanks for listening to God's Country.
Never been broke. Hey,
man, we got a good one for y'all. Got a
we'll
songwriting buddy in here that's trying
to get him off the
He's
ground.
having trouble getting songs cut. Has
It's tough,
always
man.
had trouble getting songs cut.
Been in town for what? 30 years?
50
Long
years,
time.
80
long time,
years?
Yeah.
I mean, Reagan was president when I moved here.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not. I ain't
Y'all don't know any of the songs
I couldn't
this
remember
guy.
when Reagan was president.
Y'all don't know any of the songs this guy's written. Probably never heard anything.
That's why I'm here. I mean, I want to get my name out there.
Giving him a platform. That's what we do, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do.
I'm desperate if I'm in
We
this
try
room.
to. We try to. Ain't no doubt.
Yeah.
You're desperate for something.
I ain't no doubt.
No, man, we got Ben Hayslip in the room. This guy's he's a hit maker, dude. Writes hit songs.
Has been for a while, dude.
Has been Hayslip.
Man, has been. Yeah, you're about right on that too.
Last time I saw Ben, we were writing over at 50 Egg where I write, and guy steps out of this nice brand new Ford truck, lifted, looks good, dude. Got the wheels on it he's got a 1968 Gibson, stepped out, no case, comes inside, sits down, we're talking, catching up, and I see Ben flipping his guitar over and just kind of shaking his head, and man, dadgummit, man. I'm like, dude, what's wrong, dude? You look like you're in a tough spot over there. He's like, last night, man, I was in my room picking around on my guitar, and my dang lab ran in. He was like, he was barking and going crazy, jumping on the couch. He's like, so I just flipped my guitar around, smacked him in the ass with it, and broke my guitar all the way down the back.
All the way down
You
the
know
back,
you
man.
got money if you smacking
Ain't no doubt.
labs with 68 Gibsons.
And just looking at it going, dang, man.
Dang, man.
Not like, golly, dude.
I mean,
I'd
the
be
dog
crying.
didn't even feel it.
What's the dog's name?
His name's Huck.
It's a good name.
H-U-K. So, yeah, so broke the guitar all the way down the back. Hadn't got it fixed yet because I'm a little superstitious. After I broke it, I wrote a song a couple days later, and Luke Bryan cut it 4 days after I wrote it.
Now here he is every time
Big
I
shocker.
ride with him.
Big
But I'm just
shocker.
saying,
Every
I
time
can't-
I ride with him,
I
he's
can't
like,
break this.
I don't know what
I
Luke's
can't get this
doing,
guitar
man.
fixed now. I mean, I'm kind of.
Luke ain't. I don't know, man. I send him songs. He never writes me. And then the first story out of his mouth is about Luke.
Seems like Luke Bryan cuts every song that we don't write with you.
Yeah, what's up with that, dude?
I mean, I send him 500 songs a year, and he cuts maybe one if I'm lucky.
Is that the way to do it? Is
I
that
guess
the
so.
trick?
I guess.
Quantity over.
I send 499 that don't even get a response.
I feel that.
You know what I made him listen to yesterday was that "This Ain't No Hobby." Dude, that's a jam.
Smash.
jam, yeah.
I sent it to him. I mean,
That's
I sent
a
it straight to him.
jam. He's also on that South Georgia summer song.
Some songs
Yeah.
I just don't get. I just don't understand.
Yeah, we did that yesterday. All right, let's not do it. Let's not do it.
Hey Ben, interject on this section if you want to, but we're just going to kind of catch up.
Yeah.
Hear this and tell what we got going on. Dano looking a little less like you got money, like your wallet's hurting over there. You had a
What are you talking about?
you took a hit yesterday. You had a day, man.
Yeah.
What happened yesterday,
I
Dano?
had a bit of a day. So Luke calls a couple days ago. Was like, man, I need to move some stands, which means will y'all come over and move some stands for me?
Yes.
That's
No,
what that
which means bring Reid over here and let Reid move stands and put them up for us.
All right, whatever it means. Either way,
Who goes to top and ties them
Who
down?
you think, Ben?
Okay.
dude, I'm just saying between
I'm a
the two
ninja.
So
of us.
you're the bottom holder.
Yeah, what? You think it would work better the other way around, dude?
Bro, I was
So you're
wrapped around. What'd you say?
No, dude. No.
What?
He said, so you're the bottom, you're a top.
PG, man. PG, man.
Dang.
I was wrapped around white oaks all day with poison ivy in my eyeball. In
Hey,
my,
that
in my
one thing
throat.
wasn't poison over the.
I didn't die
poison over
last
that you
night,
thought.
so that-
I told you
that worked.
It had one leaf. I was like, hey man, I know it's in your face, like literally rubbing your face right
this,
now,
dude.
but that's not.
I was like, I'm
poison
about
ivy.
to go to the BMI Awards, accept my first award with eyes like Will Smith looking up there with just can't even see, dude.
Damn,
'cause
Alex.
I'm have poison sumac all over
I
my
can look
body.
at it and get it.
Same.
And my oldest kid, he's up there grabbing it by his hand, pulling it off the tree.
I don't understand. How's
I
that? how's that
can't even.
possible?
He
I
don't get
can't
it.
be downwind of it.
And I get it from watching him do it.
I'm shocked. I'm not. Of course, it usually takes 2 days.
One time a year, I get it all over. Like I have to go get shots and take medicine. I get it in my
It's
face.
when we're hanging.
in my-
When we're hanging stands,
Yeah,
but we
which-
do it earlier than this.
we should
usually.
probably just start doing it in the winter, bro. Golly.
So we go over there. We get done with the first stand, I think, and Luke's like, "Oh, we need some more bar and chain oil for this. We got one of the pole saws, So he, not me,
Brand new DeWalt. Got the 3
Brushless,
extension,
20
volt.
electric.
It's
Got the
snapping.
40 volt
It's
battery on
banging.
it. Yeah, it's bad.
he puts it in the back of my Ranger. So him and Reid take off. They're gone. I'm going down through there. They pull into the barn, and there's a section there. I was like, oh, I can just squirm up in there beside him. I go beside him. And I was like, what did I just do, man? Like, I didn't know. I mean, it sounded like a shot going on. And so I thought I have hit his barn door, and I know that's expensive. I look back, man, that pole saw was 45, and dude, I mean, it is
Cranked,
like
son.
this. And I was like,
cattywamped. Yeah.
I was like, well, at least it's the richest human in the world that I broke. So, I mean, maybe it's not that big of a deal. He's like, yeah, go ahead and Venmo me that 180. I was like, so Mitch, you put it in the back, dude. And he was like, you're right, I did, but just go ahead and Venmo me. And I was like, he ain't gonna hit me up for it last night. We just got in the truck. It was like, ding. It was like, just Venmo me 180.
He was like, I'll send you an Amazon link.
All the hits y'all have it on him, I'd go and get him too.
I see. That's literally what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, dude.
Yeah.
I think I can send him
yeah.
a saw.
I'll send you a thank you note with
But
it.
I told him, I said, well, put that broke one in my I bought that broke one then.
Yeah.
So put it in my truck because I'm gonna go fix it. So I got Daddy's coming to your house right now to get it out of the back of your truck.
It was in my truck.
He's gonna look at it.
But that's kind of where we're at. We're moving stands. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
You been in the woods?
Man, I'm to the point now where I loved it. I mean, I hunted my whole life. When growing up, I did it as much as you can possibly do it. But when you get where I'm at now, it's like I'm all about getting my kids ready.
Sure, man.
Yeah, I've been in the woods a lot, but
Yeah.
I hadn't even sat in a stand. It's
Yeah.
like last year I went hunting one time, and I'm thinking if this buck that my kid has been hunting
Shows up.
walks out here, ain't no way in this world I can't pull this. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pull this trigger.
I get that.
And so it's I'm there now. I'm like, man, I want to do all the stuff. I want to help with do the food plots. I want to get the stands up, find the spots, clean the spots.
Yeah, dude.
Everything. I like doing all that.
Absolutely.
But I do it now so my kid can walk out there, and one of my kids, any of them.
And one of them did.
Yeah, he did. And
Was that the buck he was after?
No, that's not the one he's after. But
He killed a good deer.
it's a nice one. There's a couple more out there now that we're after, but. Yeah, it's like I enjoy all the other stuff that go along with deer hunting right now, as much as I do sitting in the stand and killing one.
It seems like you get to that point.
Yeah.
Like, that's a common theme, I think, across hunters and big deer hunters that have, you know, you kind of grow up and you fall in love with it, and you fall in love with the chase, and you go all over the country chasing them.
Yeah.
And you get, maybe you beat them a couple times and get beat a lot, but you have a couple good deer that you've hunted and taught you how to be a better hunter, and you got hanging on the wall, and you tell those stories. But it gets to a point, it seems like, that, man, it's almost just like, I mean, the prep work is always going to be there.
Yeah.
But when you're in the stand, man, it's almost just as rewarding as just sitting there and being out there and watching them. And especially probably in your case, I got young kids, but I can totally see myself getting into it for their sake.
Yeah.
Way more down the road than
Man, that's
myself.
one of the best things I've ever done, I think, as a parent, is just getting my kids, just helping them develop that love for the outdoors.
Yeah.
It's just awesome, man.
That's interesting. How do you feel like that's a good?
I think you just take them. You just take them.
really?
You take them hunting, and they're going to fall in love with it, man.
Yeah.
When you take a kid deer hunting, and they have a little success early,
Sure.
it's going to be with them for the rest of their life.
I agree.
They're just like us. They're not ever going to grow out of that.
That's true.
I don't do it as much personally now, but I'm doing all the other stuff that come with it. To me, that's just rewarding. To me, is for my kid to.
Yeah.
Land
can't
a big
imagine.
buck than it is for me.
I remember y'all talking about, you and Rhett talking about y'all were cutting plots for doves. Did y'all kill any doves this year, by the
We
way?
did. We had a pretty good.
Dude, these jokers they were in deep. No, what you want to do, you're going to have to go ahead and plant them. Call this guy, get him to plant them, but he's going to have to spray them because he's going to have to kill them before I was just like, what are these dudes talking about?
Yeah,
I don't know nothing about that dove. We grew up dove hunting, but it was always just go to a buddy's field and
Yeah.
kill about 6 or 8 and go home.
Well, we had a good time, man. This is the first time I ever planted my place, but
So how do you do it? Do you just do sunflower seeds? Or
and you do sunflower, millet, and you burn. I don't even know the whole process. Man.
Yeah.
I got a guy to do it, but they come in and burn it and then reseed it.
Sure.
And it's just a whole process, but
Do y'all have droves in there?
yeah. So it's amazing, man, to see all this work.
Yeah.
And you're out there on open day, and you're like, man, all this work we put in, and there's a sky full of doves flying across here right now.
That's sick, man. We never have hunts like that. I feel like dove hunts.
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day when we were growing up, we had some of those.
We weren't doing it. Our dad is too deer crazy.
Yeah.
Like he was like, we ain't putting no field on anything we got because we don't want to run the deer off of it.
Well, the good thing about, you're planting wheat too, so
It's true.
after dove season is kind of done, the deer, they're in there every day. They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always something for us. Dove hunting was always something for us that was like, it was just getting out there,
Yeah.
and it was scratching the itch before deer season came.
I do
before
love the
weekend.
social
Yeah,
aspect.
exactly.
The social aspect of dove hunting is a lot of fun. Like it's fun.
It's awesome,
Everybody's
man.
hollering, dude.
Even if you don't go out there and you don't shoot a million, like even if you're just out there with buddies and
Let me ask you this:
coming over the top.
Can you shoot it more than once? Because we always just went that opening day, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, you can shoot it as many times as you want to.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it get better? Does it get worse?
Well,
Does it stay the same?
usually the first one's the best. This year with us was kind of opposite because our dove field didn't get ready in time for the dove to actually find us.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good opening day, but our second hunt was better than our first.
Really?
So
How long was the space between?
now we waited about 10, 12 days between the
gotcha.
first one and the second one. By that time, every dove in the county had found out where we were.
And they weren't getting hunted there, so they probably
Right,
piled
right.
in.
So usually it's opposite, but that's the way it was for us this year.
Nice.
What's
Go ahead. You got it.
what's your best dove recipe? What do you like doing to them?
Man, my oldest kid has the best recipe. Wraps them in bacon.
Yeah, just a little dove popper.
Yeah,
Dude, tell me there's a better recipe. There ain't no better recipe.
Cream cheese,
than that,
jalapeno,
dude.
bacon.
Everybody
Yep.
always hates
Toothpick.
on
Yep.
that, but
Yeah.
dude,
That's
That's
that is it. dude.
And it's I feel like it's the same thing for duck. I feel like it's the same thing for. I mean, there's some deer recipes out there that are great, but dude, if you wrap any piece of meat in a piece of bacon
You're right.
with some cream cheese, jalapeno, and you put it on a grill for,
Jalapeno.
It's hard to beat.
dude, it is.
Jalapeno.
Why are you making fun of me saying
I'm just
jalapeno?
saying it's funny how you say it. You say it like dad. My dad says London. He says London.
I don't
No,
say
you say jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Maybe you both say it like
jalapeno. It's,
that.
that's a hard word. That's a
Jalapeno
hard word to
pepper.
say.
It's not hard.
How are you saying it?
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno pepper, dude.
Isn't that one of the? Isn't
Jalapeno?
that like a Mexican pig?
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Isn't that a pig down in?
Did you grow up hunting in Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up hunting my whole life, man.
Really?
Yeah, my granddaddy's kind of the person who got me into. My dad didn't really deer hunt a lot.
Yeah.
So my granddaddy took me. I remember funny stories, like the first time so I decided I was going to build my own stand.
Okay.
What age?
I was probably 12 or 13. And so I built this deer stand, and when I got done with it, it weighed about 800 pounds. I mean, I'm trying
6 by 6.
Yeah, I mean, it was 8 feet off the ground. But I remember my granddad said, all right, well, go find you a spot. I want you to do this on your own. Now go find you a spot, put that stand up, go kill you on your own.
Nice.
So I loaded that stand somehow in the back of his truck. And like I said, I was 12, 13 years old. I headed down the power line, and there's a long wooden power pole in the middle of this power line. Right in the middle. Ain't no cover or nothing. So I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, man, that's a good spot right there.
Heck yeah.
I was against everything I'd have been taught about hunting.
I was about to say.
But I somehow got that stand out of the back of that truck.
Was it already like ladders all put together, like one unit? Like you just...
Oh, this is a big old wooden stand.
You're just going to lean it up against the
I
tree?
mean, I leaned it out of the truck and let it just fall against that pole.
And then put it on the power pole.
On the pole.
I
on
love
the pole.
it, dude. I love it.
And then I had I'll never forget, I had a piece of yellow nylon rope.
Uh-huh.
So I tied that sucker underneath it around the pole. And it was wobbly as you could get, man.
Sure.
You couldn't get no more wobbly than this.
Yeah.
But I was 8 foot off the ground. So I take the truck back, get the four-wheeler, bring the four-wheeler back down there. Got my gun and everything. And I'm thinking, where am I going to park my four-wheeler? So somehow I just said, I'm going to park it.
Oh, you hunted that day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This all went down in no time.
Dude, 13-year-old brain, bro.
So I parked my four-wheeler under the stand.
Heck yeah.
On the pole.
Heck yeah.
In the middle of the field with no cover.
Man.
Nothing. So literally, I sit in the stand. I had not been there 10 minutes.
This is not real.
No, it was the middle of the rut, too. So one of the biggest bucks I ever killed to this day walks from here to that wall.
You're kidding me.
15 feet from me.
In that stand.
In that stand, walks straight and stops in front of me.
Four-wheeler underneath.
I shoot the deer. And I go back, get the four. I'm excited, man.
Heck yeah.
I headed back to my granddaddy. I got one. Let's get in the truck and go get him. So we heading down the power line, and we get about, where you can see that pole.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hold, you sitting right there?" I'm like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
You dang right I did.
He go, where'd you park your four-wheeler? I said, right underneath the stand. He just looks at me and goes, "I'll be down." He said, "He just walked right there, huh?" I said, "Yeah, right there."
Was the deer laying there?
Oh, he's laying there, yeah.
Dude,
that's great, man.
Man, don't try to tell me there ain't a God when that happens.
That's great.
When you get in the rut, anything's possible.
That's true.
But yeah, that wouldn't have happened on a normal day.
But still, man, we hunt,
But all that's true story. I wouldn't put this stand up out there in the field. The wobbly stand.
Beautiful.
It's wonder I didn't fall.
Yeah.
How great is that though? That your granddad was like, "Hey man, do it by yourself. Go get you one.
Yeah,
Figure it out."
Or
He did.
try, Lee. I don't think his granddad probably expected him to go kill a 140 on alpha power pole.
But taking the reins off, man,
For sure.
unhooking the chain, dude, and being
It's a
like,
different
go
time,
do
wasn't
it,
it?
man.
He learned
different
something
term.
that day though. He's like, "Man,
You
what?
can put a stand in the middle of
That's
it.
my favorite. That's my favorite place to go hunt. If I had one place to go hunting right now, it'd be that power line.
Yeah, man.
Now it wouldn't be on that pole. But
Yeah.
it'd be on that power line.
Off a little bit, man.
Probably wouldn't be in that stand
Yeah.
either.
We grew up doing that same thing. My first deer I ever killed was out of a box blind that me and my dad and Dan built, and same thing on a power line.
Yeah.
They had just clear cut the field down there. Just took the pines out, and I shot a doe in my dad's lap, and then fast forward, gosh, let's say I'm 35. That was when I was 8 years. Fast forward 27, 28.
You better be 36.
28 years. 35 today, though. Me and my dad hunted that same box blind and shot 2 of the biggest deer out of it, 15 minutes apart. Same thing.
Can't beat that.
And you can't beat that, man.
No.
I killed my first deer out of that blind.
Yeah.
At 8 point. You remember I looked like Garth Brooks with that headset?
Did you have a lapel on?
You don't remember? Yeah, we had our dad used to love. He was kind of. Thinking back on it, he was kind of obsessed with radios, like the community, because we always had a million different types. Because they wouldn't work, or some would work better.
Well, but understanding it now, Dad, even to go hunting, he had to take us because Mom wasn't going to be sitting at home with 4 kids while he was out hunting.
Yeah,
so
there's 4 of us.
he built 2 box blinds, and he would drive us in there, put Dan in one, put me in the other.
They were within seeing distance.
Yeah,
I mean, it was still probably 300-400 yards.
We probably couldn't shoot the same deer, but yeah, we'd throw an orange vest out the window, and that was, hey, turn your walkie-talkie on this time.
If you looked up the power line and there was an orange vest hanging out, you were like, oh snap.
So you're like, what's up? You see something?
You see something? Yeah, there's one between me and you. You're like, where? What are you doing? He's like, but the pine tree that's sticking out. I was like, there's 800 pine trees, dude. Which one are you talking about?
But Dad would walk those ridges, and he would have his radio on and just listen to us jabber.
That's awesome,
all
man.
day long.
I wonder if we ever talked any trash on there, like about
Probably
him.
not. We were 10 years old. I don't think we knew how to talk trash.
You kind of can't stand your dad when you're 13.
I think it was like, hey, dude, you got any snacks? I can come get.
So we had
You got a
this
little
one,
Debbie?
I had this Garth Brooks lapel mic that came around, and then I remember the deer I shot. Looking back on it, I spined him, but I was so excited. It was a big 8-point. He's 3.5 years old, 4.5 years old. It was the first like good deer I'd ever shot.
I rember that day.
I do too.
Yeah, I remember walking in and finding him.
That's what I remember you saying. It was like, man, you look like Garth Brooks up there when you was. I had my hat was all messed up. I had that lapel mic going around. I was trying to get to that deer,
Like Garth.
Yeah, that's the only guy I ever knew wore a lapel. So you grew up hunting, playing some ball, and that's as far back as you can remember.
Yeah, that's all I did. I mean, when I was younger, my daddy was a high school coach, so
Baseball coach,
football coach.
Okay,
he was a head football coach, and so I mean, we love playing ball. I mean, me and my daddy, I can't count how many hours we spent in the yard.
Yeah,
throwing footballs or baseballs or whatever.
Same. That's exactly how we came up. All we did was baseball, football, and basketball, and hunt and fish. That's all we did.
And my daddy started. So my first year I played football, little league. We were a pretty good team. We lost a few games. My dad didn't coach me. The next year, he coached us, and literally from I'd say from 10U, maybe 9-year-old football all the way till I finished playing youth football, which was around 12 or 13.
Yeah,
we never lost a game.
Dang, that's awesome.
We the only game we didn't win is the first game he coached us. We tied, and after that we never lost another game. It was crazy. It was crazy run, and we were down in Valdosta, Georgia, where football's king. You can't even get in the country club if you don't play football. But
was he still coaching the high school?
No, by that time, well, shortly he got into the insurance business after that. So I think then he was a insurance salesman, but he was, itching that love for football by coaching little league, and he took it serious.
Yeah.
He was. There's kids today that that love my dad for what he did for them as a little league coach.
Awesome.
I mean, we were pretty. The league where I played in Valdosta, there's a lot of pretty poor kids down there.
Yeah.
So there's kids that I run into. I mean, last year there's a kid that, not a kid anymore, but he told me, he's like, man, I never told you this, but man, your daddy used to give me money all the time.
Really?
I'm like, that's so cool. I never knew that.
That's awesome. It's probably the same that same feeling that you were talking about earlier about hunting, getting kids into it. There ain't nothing better than seeing those kids fall in love with outdoors. It's probably the same thing for your dad in football and seeing and introducing kids to sports and seeing how that kind of turns them into, that's a big part of your childhood, man. And learning how to be disciplined and learning how to be, competitive and loyal to a teammate, man. Those are big, characteristics.
I mean, bro, I'm 40 years old.
I'm
40 years old, and I can remember the feeling I had when Dustin Blackwelder walked Clint Crumwell to throw to me. And then I bounced this off the fence and won the game. Yeah. I remember that feeling. Dude, I was 9 or 10 years old. I know it was on that second field over there in the complex. I know right where it was.
Dude, those are your World Series back then, man.
Speaking of World Series, great segue. I didn't know you went to it, dude.
Yeah, 1990.
How does that even work? I mean, how does that even work? Did y'all win?
No, we didn't win.
Oh, sorry, I brought it up.
No, I mean, just to be there, So I played at Georgia Southern.
Baseball.
Baseball. Yeah. And we were just really, back then, Georgia Southern is a good team now. Back then, we were a really good team also, and we just had a team that, at the time, we didn't know it. But
what position did you play?
I played first base.
Nice.
And left field. But at the time, we had a team that would eventually produce a bunch of big league players. At the time, you didn't know it. We were just buddies, teammates.
Wow.
We didn't know that, 3 or 4 of us right here fixed to make it to the big leagues,
Who was it? Do you remember?
one of my high school best friends and college best friends, a guy named Todd Green, he played 11 years in the major leagues.
Dang, that's awesome.
Joey Hamilton was our number one pitcher. He was throwing 98 back in 1990 in Omaha.
That's smoking.
When
right
Randy
there.
Johnson was the only one that was doing it.
Yeah, that was back when nobody was throwing 98.
Yeah.
So he was our number one pitcher. He was a first round pick. He played 10 years in the pros in the big leagues.
Dude.
And our shortstop was named Chris Peterson. He played kind of up and down in the big leagues. He never stuck around for a long time, but he was one of those guys. He was really good.
When did you know in that ball club that you were like, hey man, we're pretty dang good?
Man, crazy story, but true story. So we're me and my roommates before the season started. We're sitting at my kitchen table. So me and Rhett started this back when we were young. But it was little cassette players. Mm-hmm. So we'd hit record and say stupid stuff,
Yeah.
We used to do the same
Rhett,
thing.
by the way, Rhett, in case the listener doesn't know, is one of all of our, he's one of Ben's best buddies. We know him. He's a songwriter too.
Yeah, Hall of Famer now. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Last year.
Congratulations, Rhett. That's awesome.
we'll get into
Sorry,
some of
Eddie,
that.
that's who Rhett is. Go ahead.
So
You and Rhett
anyway,
used to record
so I
stuff.
pulled this tape recorder out, sitting at the table with a couple of baseball buddies, and I just start talking. And I'm like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was actually saying, welcome to the 1990 College World Series.
Come on.
Georgia Southern taking on, I don't know who I said.
Yeah.
And I kept that recording. I don't know where it is now, but I
Dang,
actually
that'd be
said
sick,
that
man.
before
Before the season.
Before the season started.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And we actually ended up getting there. It was absolutely crazy.
Who'd you play in the series?
We played Stanford in game one, and we got beat on a terrible, terrible call.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, you can go to YouTube and see it. It's kind of crazy. But
Really?
yeah, one of our guys hits the ball off the second wall, over the home run wall, off the back wall, and it comes back into play. And their center fielder named Jeffrey Hammonds plays it like it hit the first wall.
Yeah.
So we lost by a run. That would have been a 2-run home run.
No
God.
way.
You got 150 umpires out there get together and didn't see it somehow. And on ESPN, they're circling where the ball hit,
Ain't no replay back then either.
and no replays.
Yeah.
They're
Is it
actually,
replay now on college
Oh, yeah.
stuff? I didn't know
Yeah.
it was on college.
Everything's got replay now.
so they're circling where the ball hit, and it shows the ball went over the fence.
Dang.
Oh, dude.
But they missed that one.
Brutal.
But anyway, yeah, sports is always a huge part, man. Football, baseball, basketball, whatever. I mean, I loved it, and I also like writing songs at an early age.
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember being literally 8-9 years old, just writing little kid songs.
See,
you know?
so do I. So do
Yeah.
I. Everybody asks me, when did you start writing? I'm like, as soon as I remember being able to do it. But mine was in the form of like, dude, you went through the same thing. If you're playing sports and you're like writing songs,
Yeah.
you don't want to be the big first baseman that's like
Right.
pouring out his heart on the paper. It's a weird dynamic to try to manage, right? Because you're going, yes, I'm creative, but I'm also a sports guy. And back in small
Yeah.
towns, those two dudes rarely are the same guy.
Yeah, well, luckily at an early age, I had Rhett,
Yeah.
we kind of found out that we both love music. I didn't know he was writing songs.
Who
He
were
didn't
you
know-
jamming back in the day? Who were
I
y'all
mean,
listening to?
we were listening to everything from Hank Jr. to Run DMC to LL Cool J to
Yeah.
George Strait, whatever.
Yeah.
We listened to everything.
Yeah.
Rhett was into Kiss and all that. I really didn't get into all that stuff a whole lot.
Yeah.
But he did. So we just
Me
loved,
either.
we
Kiss
loved
is
music.
terrible.
But when we got together, when we picked up a guitar, I didn't even play guitar.
Yeah.
So Rhett did back, that early age. So we just sit around and sing Hank Jr. We got videos of us sitting around, singing Hank Jr.
You have
Where-
videos right now.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah,
That
home
is
videos.
Sick.
Where
man.
did
I'd love to
that
see
where did that love of that music period come from?
I mean, I think I know where mine came from. It's like, everybody in my family loved music. My uncle was the only person that played in bands and played music. But, if I was in the car with my mom, I was listening to, Beach Boys or 50s music.
Sure. Yeah.
If I was in the car with my dad, I was listening to Otis Redding and Al Green.
Same, dude.
Dude, yeah.
If I was at my grandparents' house, one of them be playing Dolly Parton. Go to the other house, they got Johnny Cash playing.
Yeah.
Or my mom loved Elvis.
Same.
I was just surrounded by all kinds of music. So
different music too.
yeah, and I think that helped me. As far as my career has gone.
Sure.
Just I've had. I've been fortunate enough to have success on all kinds of artists.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all country, but this might be a pop country guy. This might be dirt country. over here. So I think my love, just being surrounded by all kinds of music,
Yeah.
it made me love music, you know. And I love country more than anything, but I like all kinds of music, man.
Which seems to be like a thing in town too. Like that stick around power is if you can kind of mold with the genre as it molds and kind of do that different stuff.
Yeah,
Whether it's
yeah.
write super country songs for a little bit, or pop country songs, or maybe a rap country song, or whatever.
R&B
Yeah, R&B.
push,
If you can if you can kind of stay with the times and be able to kind of do all that. I say the same thing, man. I would ride to church with my dad, and we'd be listening to gospel music, or sometimes he put on the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
And Dan would drive me to school, or and we'd be listening to country and Garth and Joe Diffie, and then my sister would be listening to Blackstreet and Genuine and all this kind of stuff. And jump on it. So I mean, and we lived in Savannah, Tennessee, where you got the shows
You don't know about
close. You got Memphis right there. You got Nashville. So it's kind of just a big pot of mixing pot of different styles of music.
Y'all had to like some Percy Sledge and stuff.
Oh, dude, I loved my dad loves Percy Sledge.
Yeah.
That's in his wheelhouse. I mean, I know some of that stuff.
I mean, When a Man Loves a Woman might be the greatest song ever written.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. We should probably bring on with writers. What do you think what would you argue the best song ever written would be? What was yours? That was a good one.
I mean, When a Man Loves a Woman's got to be up there. I mean, sleep out in the pouring rain, turn his back on his best friend.
Woo.
When a man loves a woman.
Come on.
Do anything.
Man.
Do anything.
Yeah, man.
I think I would go just immediate, like popping in my head is like, I Can't Make You Love Me, man. That was I can't make you. Dude,
I have to
Bonnie Raitt,
think
come
about it,
on,
man. I
dude.
don't
That's
Old Habits, Hank Jr.
Yeah.
solid, dude.
Yeah.
Solid. You know what Hank Jr. song I love is
The Country Boy Can't Survive.
I mean, yeah.
I can't go wrong with any of those.
Hard to
man.
beat that.
was boom, boom. It is Old Habits. I
that's
kick
it.
the habit. Oh, dude.
I ain't found no lifesaver yet.
Dude. I know, man. I know. Lifesaver, he's the only one that could do it, though. He's the only one that could do it. You can't hear Garth Brooks talking about no lifesavers and be like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's good. It was Hank Jr.
I use lifesavers to help me get off cigarettes.
But
you
honey,
know,
for your love,
I ain't found no lifesaver yet.
Dang.
Ah,
Yeah, that's
come on,
I
dude.
mean,
Come
yeah.
on, dude.
So it was it was those songs you were kind of growing up
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And were you trying to, were you like, man, I want to write like that, or you just thinking, man, I just want to put pen to paper and see what
Or
comes.
did you even know? I mean, for us,
Sure,
we didn't even
yeah.
know songwriting was a career. I didn't know you could do that.
I remember thinking in high school that I want to go to Nashville one day. And I didn't know what to do when I got here. I just knew that I like country music and I want to be a part of it. And in my mind, Nashville is where you go to do that.
That's true.
Was that more of a? Were you thinking more about Nashville than you were playing in professional ball?
Man,
Was-
I think when I first got to college, I probably still had that dream. I know I did, of playing professional baseball. And it's like, man, you get there and you see. So when you're playing college baseball, a lot of ex-college baseball players who current pro players, they come back and work out with you, at their alma mater.
Sure.
And I'm seeing guys that are 30 years old that are in Double A, and 31, 32 years old, still in Double A, that are better than me. I'm thinking, I don't want to be 30, 32 years old one day, still trying to play professional baseball. But it's not going to happen because that guy right there is a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
I see that already.
Yeah.
But another thing too, towards the end of my career, Rhett moved to Nashville. So Rhett moved here in like 91 or 92.
Yeah.
And I was in college. But he'd come down to Georgia Southern where I was at, and he'd bring all these demos of songs he'd written and demoed. And to me, I'd never heard it. I mean, it sounded like what you hear on the radio.
Sure.
Except Rhett singing them, and he wrote them. So that fired me up. I'm like,
That's
you know
cool,
what?
man.
Looking back, man, I mean, when I graduated college, I had opportunities to be a football coach. I actually had head coaching jobs that I turned down, and I don't know that I would have turned them down if Rhett hadn't already been here.
Man.
I think Rhett making that move here and him playing me these songs and firing me up,
Yeah.
that just made my decision to move to Nashville a lot easier.
Singleton was that for me. I mean, he was our buddy. He had a band. My band was like his baby brother band. And then, man, he keeps coming up here and writing songs. We were hearing demos. Same thing, songs
Yeah.
I can still remember and just be like, wait, man, you can do this? Like, you can go and sit in a room and create something and then go cut that thing. And then you're thinking, it almost feels like the major leagues, dude. It's like what is the word? Intangible? Like, there's no way that could ever like happen for me, right?
Oh man, I mean, my expectations when I moved here were so small.
Same, dude.
So when I moved here, it's a lot different. So I moved here, we was cassette tapes.
Yeah, it was
What year?
60s,
What year?
right?
1976.
I moved here. I moved here at the end of '94. Stayed with Rhett for a little while. Found an apartment and went back home. Loaded up a U-Haul and came back. And honestly, my expectation, if I can somehow, some way, walk into Walmart one day and look at the back of a cassette tape and see a song I wrote, I've made it, and I'll go back home and I'll coach football the rest of my life.
Yeah, because you thought it was $10 billion if you did that.
Oh well,
back then it was.
I didn't even care. I'm like, man, that's just making it to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I've made it. If I can see my name on the back of a cassette tape one day,
That's pretty cool, man.
you know, and then you get that happens, and then it's like golf, man.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
It's like you hit that one good shot that keeps you coming back.
Ain't no doubt.
You get
Tell
that
me
cut,
about
like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. Then I had some early success as far as cuts when I first moved here.
What was your first cut? Remember?
First cut
couple
was
cuts, somewhere
Trace
in there.
Atkins was my first cut. Didn't make the record, so I learned early on, about Nashville, and then I got a Black Hawk cut
Ooh,
shortly
man.
after that. That didn't make the record. That was my first one that made the record. And then after that, I'd get a few here and there, but I just you wasn't having the hits.
But it was keeping you around. It was paying
It was
your
keeping
bills
you
at
around.
least.
But at the same time, I'm real close to my family. So there's a lot of years went by. I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm
sure.
here doing this.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know
in my
exactly.
mind, I'm like, even if I have a little success, man, how long is this going to last?
Totally.
Am I going to raise my kids up here in Nashville, Tennessee, away from my family, my parents who are getting older, and just one day eventually go back, and then all those years are lost?
Man, dude.
Those
Preaching right now.
Those early years that you were in town trying to get cuts and trying to get your feet off the ground, were you strictly writing with Rhett and Rhett getting you in the doors, or were you doing the game?
No, Rhett was when I first moved here. Rhett was so big, he had a record deal.
Yeah, he was popping right then.
He was just
that
coming
my
out.
truck was probably,
So-
94, 95?
Yeah, 95. I think.
Really?
95.
That ain't my truth.
So Rhett was on. Man, he was gone. So I didn't really, Rhett. Not that he had introduced me to. I mean, I've met a few people through Rhett.
Yeah. No, I know. We know that road. That's
Yeah.
exactly what singled. He was already gone. When we
So
got
I didn't
here.
really. There's as far as writers go, I don't know that I ever met a writer. I don't think that I met a writer through Rhett that I ended up writing with.
Yeah.
It was just, I kind of was on my own,
grinding.
Sure.
Yeah.
just grinding up here every day, meeting people, writing, and I was working another job too. Even when I got my first writing deal, I had this daggum job. I was selling ball caps and T-shirts over the phone. And I was, and here's the crazy thing.
It's a Braves cap.
I was pretty-
It's $35.
It's navy blue with
No,
an A
What
on
are you
it.
saying, Braves
So
cap?
we were selling the Bill's Bait and Tackle Shop out of Oklahoma, and just any small company you can think of,
Okay.
Bob's Body Shop. We just cold calling every day, all over the country, trying to. But here's the thing:
Tough living.
if you own a company in America, most of the time you have a ball cap for your company.
No doubt.
Solid.
So we're calling about something they're probably going to use anyway. But I happen to be really good at it. So they had. I'm very competitive. So they had a sales board, and it showed top salesman of the week every week.
So you're driving to a place and cold calling from that place.
I'd get there at 7:00 in the morning,
Okay.
and I would do that until 1, and I'd leave there and go right at 2 with whoever would start at 2:00.
Man, that's crazy.
Wouldn't have been me, baby.
this-
I was starting after 1
Yeah, I was on the bridge
Unless
too.
it was you.
So my name. So if my name wasn't on top of that board every week, I was upset, man.
Yeah.
So and it was. So because of that, I was also starting making decent money.
Some money, yeah.
Dang, okay.
And then I finally hit me. I'm like, man, I'm making this guy over here a lot of money. So I'm selling a boatload of ball caps every week. And I mean, this guy,
Employee of the
they
month.
can't print them fast enough.
You dang right.
And so I just left and I started my own company. I took a guy with me to run the company for me. And
What?
Look at
Wait
you
a
hustling,
second.
bro.
Yeah, so this- a lot of people-
While you're trying to write songs, while
yeah,
you're
so
up here
a
trying to
lot of
figure it
people don't know this story's crazy, but the reason, one of the main reasons there was so much time in between me moving here and being successful
Yeah.
was this company that I started.
Okay.
So we had I ended up getting
blowing my mind.
What was the name of it?
Mind
Come on.
being
it's
blown
called
right
Superior
now.
Sportswear. And
Yeah, it was.
So we had like 14. I got 14 employees, and we started.
Jeez, Jeez, dude.
My daddy had retired.
He's a
from,
mogul.
14?
Yeah, my daddy retired from insurance business in Georgia. He done really good in his, but he's retired, and so I hired him. He started selling from Georgia. So
I love it.
My dad's first year
You
working
dang
for me,
entrepreneur.
my dad made $85,000 selling ball caps from home.
Bro, start it back up.
man.
I'll sell caps for you right
Absolutely.
now.
So he's
dude.
like, man, I didn't know if I could sit in my chair all day and sell ball. And he did. He'd sit in his recliner and call people all day.
Did you ever think, well, I mean, you were getting songs cut. Did you ever think like, man, I just sell ball caps for the rest of my life?
Well, it was hard to. I finally figured out if I had this company, had an office, had everything. You can
Where
have.
was
Up
the
here.
office?
It was off Spence Lane.
Dang, dude, I had no idea.
So anyway, but what I found out, because I was, I'm competitive, and I won't,
Sure.
I expect people to work hard.
Sure.
So when I was at the office, the company was rolling. When I would leave to go write a song, it was like, man, things.
shut down.
Yeah, and less time I'd spend there, the company would do less.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started spending more and more time there, and I'd write songs as much as I can. So this went on for like 8 years.
Dude.
So
No idea.
I guess 2008. So I started that company in 1999. In 2008, Rusty called me, or 2007, one of the two. He said he just said, "Man, I'm starting this new company
Yeah.
called This Music, and I want you to be the first writer I signed." He said, "But here's a condition." He said, Rusty really believed him. He said, "I think you're one of the best writers in town."
Yeah.
He said, "But you've never given it writing 100%," which he was right. I never had. I'd
Selling
given
ball caps.
I was selling ball
100%.
caps, man.
Making cash, dude.
Ain't no
So he's like, "I need you to give it 100% of your time, just for the first time in your life." And this is a true story. And he said, "Man, if you do that, I will promise you, you will be Songwriter of the Year." And 3 years after that conversation, I was Songwriter of the Year.
Wow, man.
And in 4 years after that conversation, I was at again.
That's so cool.
But that was, that's more bragging on Rusty Gas than it is myself. I mean,
No,
that was
I
back in
mean-
the days, when pluggers just got after it.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that's kind of matching. I mean, because Rusty's one of the best in the game.
He's the best
So,
there ever.
so that's matching work ethics and
Yeah.
him believing in you and you stepping up to the plate.
So, man,
No
just,
pun
like I say,
intended.
when I say I'm not bragging on, I'm still writing the same songs now I was then. I never pitched a song.
Yeah.
I mean, I never pitched a song.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of good buddies recording songs, and I never sent a song to anybody. I didn't have to.
Didn't have to.
No, I had Rusty Gaston,
Yeah.
and he was, that's the difference. That was a difference maker right there,
Sure.
because he was a heck of a salesman, and everybody respected him. And he knew, I think everybody knew if he's sending me this song must be good.
Right. So you're at this music at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the origin of the peach picker beginning, and then we'll brag on how
A decade of music was made.
monopoly-ish you were.
Well, so me and Rhett, obviously, our relationship.
Sure.
And so I was also, I guess 2008, I was writing with Rhett, and I was writing with Dallas, but not together. And Rhett was writing with me and writing with Dallas. Same thing for all three of us. We just weren't writing as a three. We weren't getting together as three
Sure.
of us.
Now, I know Rhett and Dallas went to college. Were you in that whole?
No, Rhett and
Who went to college together?
Dallas and Luke went to college together.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
At Georgia?
Not Georgia Southern.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Georgia
Same
Southern.
thing.
We all went to Georgia Southern.
Gotcha.
Cole Swindell went there too.
Sure.
So anyway, we were kind of writing around each other. And one day, Rusty, I guess he booked us. He said, "I want y'all three, because we were all, he was liking everything we were writing.
Yeah.
And he said, I want y'all to try this together one day." And it was on a Wednesday. Just happened to be on Wednesday. So we wrote a few songs. And
My bad. I just choked on my coffee.
Nice. Work it out.
Oh, that went down the wrong pipe.
You good?
Yeah, sorry, man.
See, right on Wednesday.
I didn't mean to.
So we're writing on Wednesdays, and we just had a good time, man. We're all Georgia Bulldog fans, so we get in the room, we talk Georgia football, we love, being in the woods, we love fishing.
Right.
We just had a lot in common. We all come from basically the same place, and I can say something to those guys that they would get that a lot of people wouldn't get. The
Totally.
same thing. We get each other,
Yeah.
So we just start writing on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday.
Well, we wrote that first Wednesday. We're like, hey, let's do it again. Let's
Yeah.
do it again next Wednesday. Before you know it, let's do it again. So we kind of booked, this is going to be our day. And we were just having fun writing songs. And the reason we were having fun, I even forget this sometimes today, but Rhett and Dallas will tell you, it's like, man, we didn't care what was on the radio.
Huh.
We just didn't care. We didn't chase anything. We basically wanted to write what we love. And our motto was, if we can put this in our CD player at the time, when we leave here or we get the demo back and we love it, there's a good chance somebody else is going to love it too.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
How many times as writers do we write something and we don't even love it, man? You know,
80%.
A lot.
Probably.
Yeah,
so I mean,
honestly.
that we were just prime examples of write something that you love. Don't worry about what's on the radio, because what we were doing was not on the radio. It just wasn't. It wasn't on the radio.
And then it was.
You know, we wrote. Our
And it was on the radio.
Then it all was on the radio.
Yeah. So
Every one
anyway,
of 'em.
we had a few hits before we were called the Peach Pickers. You know, I think we had one or two.
What was
were they?
y'all's first?
Yeah, what were
Our
they?
first one was "Put a Girl in It" by Brooks and Dunn, and then we had
Jam.
Great song.
"Give Me That Girl" Joe Nichols.
That's my favorite Peach Picker song.
was-
my favorite Peach Picker
That's
song.
possibly mine too.
Dude,
Give me that girl with
Dude,
So
hands
crazy
on the
sleeping
one,
and
dude.
smiling
Y'all
in
just
my
sat on that
chest.
chord
Man,
the
here's
whole
story.
time.
So on that day, so we're sitting in there and we're struggling to come up with something, and it's lunchtime. We're like, let's go out in the truck and listen to some music. So we go out in Dallas's truck and we put on John Mayer.
Okay.
Now this song doesn't come out sounding anything like John Mayer,
No.
but we were listening to John Mayer songs and we were like just getting inspired by it, and we literally said, all right, let's go in here and write something John Mayerish. That was one day that I remember us saying, let's chase something.
I would have never put those two things
And
together.
it didn't come out that way. You know, it came out, "Give Me That Girl" for whatever reason.
God, such a jam, dude. I mean, I can remember, when was that? Would have been like, 9, 10,
2010,
11, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been, I was in college and that thing popped out. And I could hear the intro in my head, that just hanging on that.
You weren't in college in 2010. I was in college in 2010.
I mean, I might have still have been. I didn't move up here till 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, fresh out of college. Whatever. I can remember jamming that tune.
Sure.
And just being like, man, what is this sound? And then I feel like that's a great like root system sound wise for what y'all did over those next 10 years.
Yeah, I think so too, man.
And I think it's interesting too, because like all those songs, you say that you were just having fun, like
Yeah,
you were just
they
in the room
feel
writing.
fun,
All
though.
those tunes are fun.
Yeah.
and you say that, and it makes sense in my brain. I can see y'all almost in that room doing what you did for
Yeah.
so long
Yeah.
because you get that picture by listening to that song. Like
Yeah.
It's
you
all
get that.
super strong personalities too.
Oh, for sure.
Very different. Like you were very different from Rhett. Rhett is very different from Dallas. You are very different from Dallas. It's like I could see you can almost hear all of you in those tunes. And
Well, man, it was just the thing about it was the most laid back ride of the week.
oh, that's fun too.
It's like-
something you look
makes you
forward
want to
to
be there.
Yeah.
It's just you didn't even worry that day. That was a day you just wrote off as I'm not even worried about that day. That day's going to take
Bringing
care
a
of itself.
hook or having a
I mean, we
melody
didn't
or
have most
whatever.
time. Nobody had an idea.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
just sat down and like I said, when the Peach Picker thing came, it by accident. We were doing an interview with Country Weekly back at that magazine. I don't know if you remember the Country Weekly magazine.
totally.
So the girl, they were doing an interview, and during the interview, Rhett called us the Peach Pickers, just kidding around. And she laughed. She's like, Rhett's like, yeah, we all from Georgia. We play guitar. And that was the end of it. It wasn't like that wasn't our name. That was just Rhett talking during the interview. And when the article came out, it said Peach Pickers strike again.
Yeah.
God,
And
that's
that-
cool.
that's
man.
cool, man.
That's
And let
cool.
Rusty Gasson see that.
Yeah,
right.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Runway. Runway.
Now let's have a party.
For sure.
The Peach Picker party, and we're going to serve everybody peach ice cream, you know?
Oh yeah.
Peach
man.
cobbler actually is what he did.
So I know that. I don't know if Reid knows that. Tell us about the Peach Picker parties.
So we had a Peach Picker party, and it was just
This is so sick.
we had a
dude.
Peach Picker CD, and
I had that.
I remember that CD.
I had that CD.
Yeah, I remember
the
that
only
CD.
way to get this CD was to come to the party.
And it was y'all singing the songs that you had been
was
cutting
it-
hits, right?
Well, they
it
weren't
was
cut
not-
yet.
No, they weren't. None of these songs were
They
cut
were
yet.
after we heard.
I remember. I can hear Dallas singing some of them
Yep.
tunes right now.
Yeah, it wasn't. The songs weren't cut yet, but the only way to get one of these CDs
come to
from
the
a
party.
label was to come to the party, and there was no
Genius.
holes.
Genius.
No holds.
There was no holes. It's like whoever cuts them first gets them. And so, I mean, literally, I didn't know what to expect. Me and Dallas and Red, I remember us thinking, man, is anybody going to show up this thing?
Where was it at?
It was at Warner.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and I remember we were worried about it.
Yeah.
And we get there, and all of a sudden,
Just like a songwriter, be worried about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
then
they
they-
just
then-
not only
pouring
did
it.
the
exploded.
labels come, the whole town came.
Yeah.
I mean, this was it was like, imagine the biggest #1 party you've ever seen.
Did y'all play? Did y'all play the song?
No, we didn't play anything.
You didn't play
We
nothing.
didn't play anything.
Served ice cream.
We just shook hands, and everybody got a CD, and then it was on. It's like, oh man, hey, so and so's cutting this. No, I remember a song "Barefoot and Crazy."
Jam.
It's like I'm not gonna say the artist, but one artist wanted it, and Scott Borchetta said, "Well, they're gonna have to beat us to it. We fit
Barefoot.
Get in the studio tomorrow.
Was that Jack?
Jack Ingram."
Jack Ingram. Yeah.
So he went
flip top on the
Barefoot and
bridge.
crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, that was,
So Scott went and cut it on Jack Ingram before this other person could get in the studio.
dang.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
So for the next, when did that peach picker party happen?
That was probably
when bro he been getting cut, say he still
Well, no,
gets
I'm saying because after that
2010,
I'm
bro.
saying after that day, you never worried about another peach picker party again. Because for the next,
No, we never had another one.
what, for 10 years straight?
Well, I mean, we had the vibe kind of changed a lot through the years. It was always every Wednesday we'd write, and then we all got kind of pretty busy.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just those Wednesdays started turning into every other Wednesday. Or me and Rhett still actually write every Wednesday to this day.
Really?
Wow.
We still do it. Dallas is running the publishing company. He's doing a lot of other stuff.
Sure.
So it got harder for him to be there every single Wednesday.
Yeah.
But there was times of funny stories about like there were some 2 ways written when Dallas was supposed to be there. He just
there.
Come on, give us one.
was on the
Dude.
L-
We know Dallas. He's fine. He'll
Well,
be
I
all right.
remember. If you look back on the creation dates of Honeybee, of Mind Reader, of When She Says Baby, on one Farmer's Daughter, that's 4 off the top of my head. If you look at the creation dates on those, they're all written on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Now, Farmer's Daughter ended up being a 3-way anyway because Dallas was on a hunt somewhere, and we get there and Marv Green got canceled. We're like, come on here with us, man.
Yeah.
But the other 3, Honeybee, Mind Reader, and When She Says Baby, that Dallas was on the book those days.
And he wasn't there.
He had good excuses. He was
Sure.
living it
No.
up,
Hey,
yeah.
yeah.
He wasn't just laying around the bed. He was going and doing stuff. Going hunting, whatever. But yeah, all those songs were written on Wednesdays.
Dang, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've literally been in deer camp with Dallas in Illinois, and it's the first time we ever met him, and it was just us 3 in deer camp, and we got done hunting that morning, and Dallas was like, let's go grab some lunch, and we go off to this little diner in this little small town in Illinois, and while we're sitting there at the diner, I mean, dude, it's what, 2017, 2018?
Yeah,
It's
19.
it's peach picker song after peach picker song coming from the
Dude,
speakers.
them little country.
And we got done with the meal, and the what are they called when they hand you the thing to pay for, the receipt? Sorry, not the receipt, but
Bill.
Ticket. Golly, dude. They brought those 3 out, and Dallas just scooped them all up. He was like, he's like, I'll take care of y'all. So he's like, I think I just
Randy Houser was singing something.
he's like, I think I can pay for y'all.
I can't remember which Randy Houser song it was.
He's like, I pretty much pay for all these while we're sitting
We're running
there.
out of Moonlight?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was
dude,
like,
it was-
Randy,
man.
pay for this one.
Just hit after hit after hit, dude.
Yeah, that's fun, man. That had to be.
That's always, man, when you do that with y'all doing the same thing, man.
Yeah,
Y'all,
absolutely. We're in the middle of it. Yeah,
y'all in the
it feels
same
like.
thing we were in the middle of. It's just having fun with your buddies, doing what
Man.
you love. And y'all all got the same things in common. You know,
Totally.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild thing to be able to do that with me and Reid got to do it last year and have a hit with Luke together. And man, it's arguably the greatest feeling in the world, man, to just be doing that with your pals. And
I mean, just the fact that we get to do this period
sure.
with anybody. I mean, we get to write songs for a living.
Yeah.
I still feel guilty about that. I mean, I remember my daddy going to work every day, leaving the house at 7 something every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your granddaddy coming in sweating from the farm, and we get to write songs. I mean, how do we get this lucky and blessed, man?
I've heard
sure.
I've heard you say that before. It's like you've been doing this for how long now?
I mean, getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Been at Nashville. So
since '96.
and you still, I've heard you say you still love.
I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, I love. There's very few times that I dread getting up and going to work.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't like to drive. And the drive sucks. It's getting worse and worse every year. But once I get here, I'm glad I'm here, man.
Yeah, I feel that way.
I love writing songs. I mean, I'm gonna do. They're gonna have to run me out of town. I mean, I'm gonna do this forever.
You sure, man? Maybe you just head on out, leave some room for the next guy. Maybe.
I mean, my mind might change the older I get, but right now I'm saying, I mean, I love writing songs every day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you just got done with farm tour. Give me a good old farm tour story. I know y'all got one.
Man, we can't tell them stories. I mean, we have a good time out there. I'll say that. You know, the fact that 3 songwriters get to go out there and play for 30,000 people.
I was going to ask you about that. What's that like, dude? What's
Yes.
what's stepping out on stage? What are y'all playing? Y'all playing songs from the past? And,
Yeah, we
and
just
Give Me
play
That
our
Girl?
songs.
Do you
Oh,
just
no.
not play Luke Bryan songs?
Yeah, we kind of tease them a little bit.
Oh,
the
nice.
ones we wrote,
Sure.
we can't play them because Luke's about to play them. So,
Right, that's what I mean,
So
yeah.
we'll tell the crowd that. We're like, hey, we wrote a few songs for Luke, too, that we can't play tonight because he's about to play.
Yeah.
And I just say, hey, Luke's back here listening, see what kind of crowd we got.
Yeah.
So let's give him a little sample of what we got tonight. And
Yeah.
I'll start out. You got your hands up.
Yeah,
And then 30,000 people sing every
You're
word.
rocking in my truck.
Yeah.
You got the radio.
Yeah.
I'll be out there with it, dude.
Yeah, I'm out there right now.
Yeah,
man.
me too, man.
But yeah, man, it's just, we've been doing that for 13 or 14 years. I mean, it's like, and his fans, kind of, we have a good introduction. Somebody introduces us, so so they don't think we're a cover band.
Who introduces you?
Or
They don't think we're a cover
DJ Rock.
Okay,
cover band.
Yeah, I mean they would. I mean, if
absolutely.
if somebody didn't tell us who we are, I mean, we're sitting here singing, 14 number ones. They're gonna think, all right, well, these boys.
Just cover.
I mean, get off the stage, man.
There's been plenty of cover bands. I promise you across this country that have done that same set of y'all songs.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So but the fact that the introduction really helps. I mean, you think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It turns into a cool moment at a major concert when you got the guys that wrote the songs actually on the stage.
1,000%.
And when them 30,000 people know who you are and know you wrote the songs, it turn all of a sudden they know you're not a cover band. It gets a cool experience for them.
Oh, 1,000%. I
You
can
know.
see why it's way more intimate if you know.
I think it should happen more, to be honest with you. The Peach Pickers, we're asked Luke all the time, why are you not hiring us to be your opening band?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't do it, but we're just kidding around. But
Yeah.
But it is a pretty high energy show, with a full
For
band
sure.
and
It's probably so much fun too.
It
I
is,
mean,
man.
like I
Well, they only do it 2 weeks, right? Y'all are only
Yeah.
there 2 weeks, so you're not gone it wasn't like what I did this past year. It's like you only you got 2 weeks set
Right.
apart.
Yeah.
You go, you rock those 2 weeks, then you come home.
yeah, and you're home rest of the year.
dude, I watched that video recently of I don't know if you were recording or something.
Oh,
but,
he was.
But Luke gave Dallas that spit cup, and then they
Oh,
hit
yeah.
that horn, dude.
Classic, man.
But I tell you, man, it's in a weird way, it's inspiring to watch that as like a young songwriter trying to break into that and see like. Dude, you were just enjoying life. Y'all were just enjoying life, man.
I mean, it's the
You
same
didn't
thing
take
as me
it-
snapping Luke's song
Absolutely.
yesterday.
No
It's
doubt,
like-
man. It's
Yeah.
not
If we had a video of that, it'd be real funny.
like it's a job. It is songwriting and writing songs for a published company, especially when you're getting paid to do it and you got to do it every day. It's a job.
And there's pressures that come
dude,
with it.
y'all kept the fun in it, man.
Yeah.
And
I try to keep the video camera rolling every now and then when I'm out there, man.
too, man.
I mean,
There ain't no telling.
that video you saw was actually the second time of the day. The first we missed it. The first
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah, I didn't get my
Whose
camera
truck
up in time.
was that, man? That was
That was Luke's truck.
That was a loud horn.
Yeah, Luke's truck.
It was
He's proud
totally
of-
an artist
He's
truck.
proud of that horn.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. But the first time we did it, Dallas was coming out of the store holding a case of water. And I didn't get my phone up in time. They hit the horn too early.
Oh.
And literally the whole case goes all over the
Is
floor.
he jumpy like that?
Well, I mean, you got to,
It's a loud horn.
It's
dude.
a horn.
There ain't no
I mean,
telling.
it's
You
a loud
probably can't
horn.
tell on the video
I mean,
how
it's
loud
like
that
a
horn
it's
is.
like train horn. Like it
Yeah.
is loud.
yeah. I mean, so we missed that one. So this next one only happened like a couple hours later.
That was on the way to a
Dude,
dove
I can
hunt.
see it in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
head right now, man. It's the funniest.
It is. I mean, I'm gonna keep putting it up every
Please,
season for
dude.
the
That's
rest
what
of
I
my life.
wrote on there. Like, this has to come up at least once a year, every year for as long as I'm
It's
around.
classic.
I mean, it is the way he's just holding the cup right when it kind of. He just. It's really funny.
Oh yeah, spit on my hands.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna interrupt that thing that you were trying to say, 'cause it's the time of the show to do the one that got away.
How you feel about that, man? You like that? You smile.
That's pretty sweet. Man.
Thanks,
Did
dude.
you make that
Don't
up?
steal that.
Did you make that up?
Just right then, dude.
I should have my recorder going.
Yeah, you did.
Fingers of
matter of
velvet.
fact, you were.
Yeah.
It was going.
All right, so this is the we're coming to the end, which I don't want this to end, man.
It's fun.
I don't want
I've
this
had-
day to end. You know? You see what I did there?
You just want to hang out? You
Oh,
just
we
want to ride with
can.
us today?
Yeah, I
What
canceled
time
my
is it?
ride.
He gotta go.
Dan got canceled.
Yeah,
I got canceled.
Oh man, yeah, what y'all ride?
What you got? Who you got today? Can we hop on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, nah, man. So this part of the show, Ben, never been broke, Ben Hayslip.
Never been broke
been broke,
Hayslip.
yeah,
That's how you
yeah,
say
no
it.
doubt.
Never been broke Hayslip.
So this is called The One That Got Away.
Which I can't call him anymore because he actually was broke for a while until he started his hat company.
It could be a 12-pound largemouth that you got to the boat and broke off the hook.
It could be a David Nail single that you had that never made the record,
No doubt. When you didn't have $2 in your bank account.
and they tell you that it is, and they let you sing harmony on it.
So here's a story, right? I got a story for y'all. This is a great story.
Bring it.
Ready?
So I was probably about 20 years old back in Wadley, Georgia, hunting where all my family.
Wait, say that
In
again?
what, Georgia?
Wadley, Georgia.
Wadley.
Both sides of my family come from Wadley, Georgia.
Okay.
And it's a little town, 60 miles from Augusta, Georgia. So I shoot the biggest buck I've ever shot in my whole life. And
Okay.
I mean, we're hunting in kind of swampy area back there.
Rifle, bow,
This
muzzleloader.
was a rifle.
Okay.
It was about a 100-yard shot. Found blood, tracked it. I mean, forever. I was bound to turn to find this deer. We
Yeah.
hunted this deer. This was I shot him in the morning. We hunted this sucker as long as you can. I mean, all day long.
Okay.
Biggest deer I ever shot. Never found him. Just never found the sucker, man. Well, back then, a little history. So my neighbor, the land next to ours, it was an older woman lived there, old woman.
Yeah.
She had a grandson.
You can say that.
I make sure she had a grandson. She had a grandson that would come down from North Georgia and hunt on her land every year.
No, dude.
So
I feel like I already know this.
we didn't know the kid back then that well, but we didn't like him a whole lot because he would shoot anything that walked.
For
I don't
sure.
like that guy
You
either.
never like your neighbors.
So fast forward, and that was probably that was about 1990, probably when this happened.
Okay.
And
I was 2 years old.
How far are we fast forwarding?
so we're going to fast forward to 5 years ago.
5 years
man.
ago.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay. That's
And I
28
get
years for those.
So I
of
get
you
a
who
call
can't-
from one of my buddies down there in Jefferson County. He's like, "Man, you ain't gonna believe this." So that kid that used to hunt there, he ended
Yeah.
up moving to that town.
Okay.
He said, "You ain't gonna believe this." He said, "You remember that kid that used to come over there and hunt on so and so's land?" I don't want to say her name. I'm like, "Yeah, I remember him well." He said, "You know he lives here." I said, "Yeah, I know he moved down there." He said, "Man, he just told me yesterday to give you his number." He said, "That deer you shot back in 1990,
No way.
he found it back then and got the sucker mounted."
What? No.
Yeah.
He found your deer.
Found deer and got it mounted.
It's in his house.
It's in his house. And I ain't gonna tell you what I told him to tell him, but
That deer is in his house right now?
yeah, I don't.
Did he say like, hey, man?
No, come get it.
He said, come get
Yeah,
it?
if you want it.
Go get it.
I ain't getting. I was too mad. I was so fired up.
I mean, I
That dude-
get it.
That
I
dude
get
knew
it.
I was looking for that deer.
Yeah, he knew.
Dang, how do you do that?
I mean, I guess 30 years later, you go, you know what, man? I didn't kill that thing, and my neighbor Ben did.
Yeah,
And he could probably give me some Luke Bryan tickets if I give it
that's
back
probably
to him.
something tied
Probably
to it. That's
so.
the reason I can't tell you what I told him to tell him.
That's a good one, dude. That's similar. We had Josh Thompson on the other day, and he said he shot a 23-inch widespread deer.
He said public land, biggest deer he's ever killed.
public land, dropped it, knew where it was, went back to get the truck, came back, some was gone. Just stole it.
Stole it.
Just
Unbelievable.
stole it.
Dude, it's always a deer
I would like
story,
to see
man.
that deer. I would like to see it, but
I mean,
How
look,
big- how big
man,
was it?
How can we? I
Man.
feel like we need to rekindle this situation.
yeah.
This is what we did last time.
I'm
It's like,
just saying.
give the guy's deer back.
Now,
Now.
he
Okay,
will.
let me
He
ask you
said I can
this.
have it. I don't want it.
If it
Whatever
just
is.
if it just happened to be on your doorstep one day, would you hang it in your barn?
Probably so.
Put it on his doorstep, dude.
Dude, hey man, this guy, whoever you are, he's not gonna say his name. This guy is a world class. Let's make a case for him right now.
Dude, not
World class
just
human.
one of the absolutely
That's
one of
what
the
I'm
best
saying.
dudes.
Major accomplished songwriter. Maybe a pair of Luke tickets. Either you're Luke or Luke. I'll throw some.
Got some bargaining power.
I'll throw some LC tickets in there if we can get that door on. Luke, our
Deer.
Luke would want that to happen.
I mean, he's offered to give me the deer. I just,
I'm just saying,
It's a
maybe if
principle.
it
It's a
just
That's the
principle.
principle of it. Yeah.
who do
He
we
stole that deer, dude.
How far does Ray live from where that is? Vulture.
50 miles.
We make that happen. We'll get Vulture on the phone. Jumps, you got that? All right.
Ben, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
hanging with us.
Thank y'all for
Hey,
having
this
me,
is
man.
this little tidbit. This is Ben's first ever podcast,
Hey.
right?
It is. It is.
Breaking him in.
Proud
Breaking
to
him
do it.
in.
Proud to do it. Thanks for coming on. We love you, man.
Enjoyed it, boys.
You're
Hey,
great,
appreciate
dude.
you, my dude.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming
absolutely.
and hanging out with us, and we'll let you get to your right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks for hanging out in God's country with us for a little bit.
Thank y'all.